everybody, Infinity Nikki now has a fandom iceberg because a lot of these happenings are more to do with everyone else rather than the game itself. It's more about what kind of memes people posted, how people reacted to certain things, what kind of things fandom finds to be intriguing, interesting, or significant. As such, it's a very me thing. And it just makes me nerd out in like the best ways possible. So this is a Reddit post. It was created by one of the users. Let me just click in. It was created by Addicted to Felines. Thank you so much, Addicted to Felines, for making this thing, because this is just the most wonderful thing ever. And I thought we're gonna go through the first 3 tiers in this video, and we're gonna leave the last 3 tiers, which is why they're not even like fully in focus and fully in shot. It's like, doesn't matter. That doesn't matter until tomorrow, because I thought I'm gonna do a 2-parter on this so that a video isn't like 2 hours long. We can just go through the first 3 tiers, and I can explain what each of the words mean and what are they referencing. Because I'm a nerd, and this is just the kind of things that I really like to nerd out about. But before we begin, shout out to Reddit user Amaenamonesia, I believe, for I don't know how to actually pronounce their username. Sorry. They have actually written down in the comment section down below, clarifying as much as they can what each of the words on the tiers means. So they have done like 95% of the footwork. I replaced some posts in there with my own if I believe that a specific post explains the situation or kind of gives you an idea of what you're looking at a bit better than what they wrote, but they have done like a huge amount of work in just decoding the whole list and getting people that weren't here for those events like a glimpse as to what has been happening in Infinity Nikki fandom. As such, they should get majority of the credit and they should get the shout out. I'm just here to read some stuff because this is the kind of thing that I'm like super into. So starting right at the top, Ganges. Ganges came into existence as somebody's misspelling of gorgeous. It was a very early Infinity Nikki meme, and it kind of exploded because you know how you can take pictures with other people's pictures? One person took a picture with another person, and they were trying to say that their Nikki is gorgeous, and instead they said Ganges. And this user didn't mean bad. They were like, you know, sorry, but this is like the greatest thing ever, and me and my friends are now using it all the time. They take like the picture from the screenshot that just said Ganges and they post it everywhere. And that's how the word Ganges and the meme Ganges kind of came into being. Later on, the user that originally misspelled gorgeous came along, and I think they had absolutely no hard feelings with the community as well. They seen all the memes, they thought it was funny, it was a lighthearted joke, nobody got hurt, everybody enjoyed it. No More Cramps refers to this early story Infinity Nikki investigation scene where you can select what kind of wish Nikki has made, and one of the wishes that she could have made was, I wished for all girls to never get cramps again. Everybody found that to be, once again, lighthearted, humorous, and funny, hence why it is on the iceberg, and also it helps us to remember the lighter times, when things were a tiny bit less complicated and the game was very, very new. Next up, all the way up there, is Coziest Open World Game. It can actually refer to multiple things. Most recently, it's referring to the fact that Merit Arena felt very unreasonable, very uncozy, and very much not what the genre of Infinity Nikki is supposed to be. However, We also have other things, just our item descriptions can sometimes be mistaken for item descriptions from Dark Souls. If you read into the lore, it turns really, really dark, so it's more of this vibe that Infinity Nikki on the surface portrays itself as an incredibly cozy game, but the moment you get deeper, it has a lot of very not cozy elements in it. Stardew Valley collab. This is a fairly easy one. Stardew Valley had a very rare collab with Infinity Nikki. It was actually quite hyped. In reality, what it ended up being was about a 5-minute quest during the introduction of housing, so patch 1.9, where these Stardew Valley characters effectively appear and give you some clothes and fuck off. So it was the most overhyped thing, but like the lowest execution possible. Kind of confused the community at that point. Nobody was all that mad outside of some Stardew Valley people that didn't really like the fact that they're a cozy indie game simulator that's very, very, I would say, like, reasonable in the way that the author is doing things, collaborated with a gacha, which is a very predatory business model, so they were upset about that. Infinity Nikki people were insanely happy about that because a lot of them also play Stardew Valley, but of course then the whole execution fell incredibly flat. Sign Guy Dancing comes from 1.11 and it's referring to one of the 3 board game teams that existed during that patch. And I believe he belonged to Pepper Gems? It was a completely random NPC, but the amount of energy that his dance was giving, a lot of people kind of wanted him to be permanently there. He was like one of the highlights of the patches, and Sign Guy Dancing deserves a mention. Cute cosplays! This is a very wide category. It can mean people cosplaying with Infinity Nikki inside Infinity Nikki, or it can mean people cosplaying Infinity Nikki. We have a lot of great creators and cosplayers inside the community. We have people that dress up as Infinity Nikki. We also have people that make a lot of cosplays inside Infinity Nikki of all other possible fandoms. It's quite wholesome, quite a big part of the game, hence why it's in the surface tier. Like, if you know about the game, you probably have heard about it. Going down to tier 2, which is just barely below the surface, most people have heard about these. We are starting strong with the retcon intro. This is a huge post that compares intro side by side about how you start off versus how you used to start off in 1.0. You started off in the attic of Nikki's own world. Now you're starting off somewhere unknown and proceed into Sea of Stars for the intro. Ina first appears in the chains because she's like the mystery goddess that you first approach after you fall through a closet into a new magical whimsical world. Now Ina appears as a dead ghost. Old Nikki hears Ina's calling before seeing her, asking her to go into the chamber where the Ina is. Ina now asks Nikki to go to the edge of the border before walking away. The original outfit that you were placed in was called Threads of Reunion. It's supposed to be your mother's dress. It is something that a lot of people remember from the OG intro, and a lot of people really wanted that dress back. The further we go, the less detailed it looks compared to all the new things that we had seen and all the new outfits that were being given, but it had such an emotional impact for people that were there for like the 1.0 tutorial. So effectively, if you joined on patches 1.0, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, or 1.4, you probably got attached to the tutorial dress. I dare say For Infinity Nikki players, this dress is on par for other Love and Shining Nikki players, the same way that Sea of Stars dress is. Now, we have the Sea of Stars dress, something that's available in Infinity Nikki, but unlike in Shining Nikki and Love Nikki, there's no lore attached to it, so nobody really developed an attachment to it. While the 1.0 Threads of Reunion dress was special, it's supposed to be something that belonged to your mom. It's like part of Nikki, and then Ina goes, I used to dance with the owner of this dress quite a lot. So there's like lore attached to it, and it's like the first kind of wow sort of outfit that you see when you just start the game. And we never got it, and I'm now on a completely different rant, but don't worry, there's also a space for Threads of Reunion, so it's gonna make sense later on. Old Ina was in the temple, new Ina stands outside the temple, but she's kind of like a ghost now. Old Ina was talking about her being imprisoned here while in chains. New Ina just talks casually about her being imprisoned here after the Heavenfall, when all the gods kind of disappeared / died. Bad shit has happened during Heavenfall, but once again, New Ina is literally dead. Old Ina was actually like a remnant of a person. In the old cutscene of Ina giving the Heart of Infinity to Nikki, in the new version, Ina just briefly mentions that she gave Nikki the Heart of Infinity a while ago, so like, if you're a new player, the new intro just kinda makes very little sense. You know, the old intro, Nikki wakes up in the Stylist Guild Memorial after having, like, been unconscious, so, like, the whole thing kinda sorta maybe happened, but, like, I'm pretty sure it happened because Momo witnessed it happen, but then you just fell unconscious for days. In new intro, you're just teleported in front of the Stylist Guild, and it's now really badly connected because you used to meet Dada in the tutorial, and now you meet her directly in the Stylist Guild, but you still kind of act as if you know her, and as if there's like any connection to her. So yeah, it's a whole thing. The new tutorial is a whole thing, and because we made the whole 1.5 drama to be as big as it was, a lot of people know that it is a whole thing. If you are a new player, I suggest watching 1.0 intro on YouTube. It makes a lot more sense then, especially considering that in the new intro, the game acts as if the old intro did take place, the world ended, and then got rewound. So, it's not erased, it's rewound, but old players got to experience it. You didn't, so when you enter the game, it's kind of confusing as all hell, and it's a whole big thing. The whole intro retcon is like a whole big thing. Still waiting on Threads of Reunion. Remember my rant there? Yeah, people still remember it. This is an old post, but from time to time people still come back and go, hi, hey, yeah, remember that tutorial dress? Can we actually, like, have it? And Infold wants to forget her. And here's the fun little bits. After the tutorial was changed, the tutorial message in the quick guides did not. So I'm pretty sure that at some of the quick guides, as into like how to jump, how to run, you're still being shown clips of the old tutorial, and as such, clips of Threads of Reunion. Which we don't have. God damn it. Please give us the dress. It would save you on dev time. I mean, you already have it. Just like, replace the legendary outfit with it. Just send it out as a birthday gift. If you don't want to do evolutions and recolors, just like, send it out for Nikki's birthday. You save yourself on developing a new I don't understand why they just never gave this one when the community is like so attached to it. Like, find any occasion and just have a break. Don't develop an outfit and give people this one for free. Like, replace a free outfit with it. Like, ah. Next up is easy skip. This refers to the fact that the community will often like make dupes of dresses and they will say that, oh, you know, skipping this outfit is so incredibly easy. Like, I have something like this already at home. Like, I'm not gonna fall into the fear of missing out, and then half of this community the next day with the dress going anyway. It's like, I got her. I do understand that feeling, sorta. Like, I haven't really fallen for the outfits that are like really not my thing. Like, I know that ball gowns are not my thing, but still, 1.11 ball gown was quite alluring, so it's even kind of reaching me. Like, I know that that's definitely not my thing, but still. And then, like, I know that some outfits can be duped, or that they're, like, similar to what we had before, and yet my brain goes, yeah, but what if we had, like, more of that thing that we had before? Like, it's just another version of the thing that you have, but, like, what if you had, like, another version of the thing that you have? Wouldn't that be great? So, like, I highly relate. I also feel like I've gotten more outfits during the 2.x than I really should have. Normally, I'm like really a lot better at saving, and now by like 2.7, I'm like, I have like 300 pulls. Let's like make it happen. And I'm not used to it because during the 1.x era, I would practically always have savings. Like I did so good. I did so good on skipping, and then during the 2.x era, I'm doing absolutely terribly at skipping, so I entirely relate. Yellow green glow up is very self explanatory, for the glow ups most often are either yellow or green. Here is one from 3 months ago begging Info to give the yellow glow ups a break. It is incredibly rare for glow ups to be anything besides like yellow and green, and then it's like when it's pink or purple, everyone is like, and the glow up isn't yellow or green. Isn't that like super great? Oh my god, the glow up is something different, which just kind of shows that the community gotten used to this. So, very self-explanatory thing. We see a pattern. We point at the pattern because the pattern just kind of proves to be true like 99% of the time. We have this outfit at home. It's the age-old tradition of duping the outfit that is on the banner in order to disincentivize yourself from pulling. If you want to know how far back it goes, this is a post from 1.3. They're like, look, Daughter of the Lake kind of looks like the 4-star on the Timeless Melody banner, and I can use my free Wishful Rosa miracle outfit to sort of dupe the banner. I don't need the banner. It shows you how far the tradition of we have this outfit at home goes. It goes pretty far. Girl cut. When the game's boycott during 1.5 was happening, Infold has decided to have this wise idea to ban the word boycott to make it go away. And people are like, you don't like boycott? You don't like boycott? Just gonna rename it to girlcott and continue going. We still have tags, I believe, on the Infinity Nikki subreddit for like girlcott. So it still has a legacy. Sometimes it's still brought up whenever Info really messes up. The most recent time when that has gotten brought up, though, albeit in a much looser way than it did during the 1.5 era, because I think we're all a bit traumatized, was when Info changed Timeless Melody Alternative Evolution after already releasing it. So it's still very very recent. It still sometimes, pops up. But yeah, at one point, the company had the wise idea to just ban the use of the word boycott, and it did not work out. Boycott still continued, only under a different tag. Now, let's talk about Ina x Nikki's mom. So, threads of reunion, right? You find that dress inside the attic, and it's the dress that belonged to your mother. When you go down to the magic land, Ina, the goddess there, which you meet, says that she used to dance with the dress's owner, implying that your mother was to that magical land first. Now, mind you, knowing all that we know now, there is a chance that this is just time loop shenanigans, and more than one Nikki has been there, and your family is so de-emphasized that some people now take the attic scene as being a hallucination, as a way to kind of boot up another version of Nikki and just like place her in without her being like ultra confused about everything. But before Enfold ruined it, we had quite interesting lore hooks that people wanted to see explored, such as like, your mother was there? What was she doing there? What was she like? What was her story arc? What was her travel through Miraland like? What did she do? What was your mother like? Relatives, family ties, interesting shit. And then it kind of just all got removed. So it all harkens back to the original intro. And there's some comments like talking about it. How often would Nikki's mom dance with Ina? I'm a little jealous, and like speaking about what her mother was like, what the story even implies. There used to be a lot of lore deep dives. We lost that with the change of the intro, and we haven't quite recovered it, because when you just throw out your plot, a whole bunch of people go, you don't care about that, and why should I care about that? We're getting it back a little bit now. People are caring again, but it took a while to actually get there. Moving on to the seer is Nikki. You can sort of imply it from this conversation and the game here. Nikki, I want to know more about you. Who are you? Why are you helping me? The seer. It seems you desire to know more about me. That truly warms my heart. Why do you kind of speak like AI? Unfortunately, my story is not a happy one. I was once just like you, a young girl full of energy with eyes that shone like the stars and heart brimming with hope. However, in the end, things always turned out the same, the outcome never changing. All adventures inevitably led to the same conclusion, and that conclusion is who I am now. People kind of imply from that conversation that the seer is Nikki, but there's a couple more things. First of all, seer's skin tone in game will always match the skin tone that you have selected for your Nikki. So, that's weird if there's no implication there. Seer's hair is always pink. She refers to Nikki as my little pink star. She seems to know a lot about Nikki and Nikki's and the Nikki multiverse. All in all, kind of leads us to believe that the seer is the conglomeration of all of the failed Nikki timelines. So in a way, seer is either Nikki in the future, or seer is the conglomeration of all Nikkis to ever exist. It's a very mind-bending sort of scenario to think about, but here we are. I also really like this incredibly old comment. For those who didn't play previous games, the previous mysterious godlike being who hung out in the ocean of memories back in Infinity Nikki was named Leonid, who was supposedly the greatest designer of all time. Via his ability to mess with time and space, Leonid also taught baby Nikki fashion and design back when she still lived on Earth. Once Nikki got to Miraland, she ended up being viewed as Leonid's successor by various factions. Something everyone treated with the same level of gravitas as dealing with actual gods. Basically, it seems like at least one Nikki has achieved actually succeeding Leonid and has taken his incredibly important role of being a burnt-out gay cryptid of jaded morals and immense power. I really like that description. A person from over a year ago. I will take burnt out gay cryptid of jaded morals and immense power into my heart whenever I need to write a description for any character in the future. This is greatly appreciated. Welcome to Tier 3. We're gonna start from Purifying Archery Power Creep. Quite an easy explanation here. We started with base Purification ability. Timeless Melody came out, which allowed you to put your enemies to sleep and like do big bombs. Then at 1.8 the cat outfit came out that allowed you to dash through enemies, which was more powerful than Timeless Melody. Then archery came out in 2.0, which was more powerful than purification has been, so purification already went into the garbage bin. Then the archery ability that released with 2.0 was more powerful than the base free-to-play ability, and then 2.5 1 is an iteration on top of that. In other words, we have enemies that keep on increasing in health and in difficulty, and we have abilities sold to us to solve this problem, with seemingly them changing combat for the sake of throwing away the old OP outfits, so potentially that's gonna happen again in 3.0, and I'm kinda ready for it. Merit Arena combat. It has been kinda insane in 2.5, and the example post ended up being mine of all things. Anyone that has hated Merit Arena, you will really hate the final stage of it. So good news, I'm pretty sure that it is optional and that you only get one blue crystal for it, so technically you don't need to do it. What makes it extra dirty is that there's a part where you get two 150 HP bell bosses at once, stacked on top of each other. I summoned the wolf that came from the 2.4 banner and mostly focused on trying to glitch myself on pillars to lose as little health as possible, because it's an AoE fest. My yellow health potion stash is down all the way to 11 now. I'm going to be as calm as possible when I'm trying to say this, but Infold is really not an expert on fight design. After 2.5 Merit Arena, I'm all in favor of going back to 1.x combat or reverting to a mix of the two. Insanely power-crept fights that are becoming bullet hells is what we're seeing, hence why it got mentioned in the iceberg so incredibly much. Moving on to T-pose interrogation. This has been a very common 1.0 glitch for the main story cutscene. I honestly have never seen Nikki actually use that chair, and I played through the full game twice because I have two accounts. One I opened for streaming to be able to revisit the whole game because I played through the original one on my main account and I couldn't, just replay the story because that's not an option. So I did it twice, both times around. This is how this cutscene goes. You're talking to chests and you're like in the default position, which is not quite the full T-pose, but just kinda arms outstretched. It's very close to the normal default position in video games, which is the arms up here, where your model just kinda defaults into a T-pose. So this is... the A-pose is Infinity Nikki's equivalent of a T-pose, and that's how that cutscene normally goes. Building contest cave scheme stolen. This has been a whole thing. When the building competition has released, somebody stole another person's build that they were working on and that they were sharing the share code for because they were like, look at this awesome thing that I built. I want everybody to see it. This is a share code. You can import it and you can look at it yourself. Somebody took a share code of another person, which was a verified user with a public post, and stole the build and entered the building competition with it, while the original creator's build got rejected from the building competition. Yippee! Infold eventually reached out to correct the issue here, and they suggested the original person with the build scheme enters like their trusted verification group or something that advises them on further build projects and that sort of thing. I think they also got some apology merch. But fun fact, we have not had a building competition since that one, so yeah. Fake discounts. Infinity Nikki is very known for this, but it is actually quite illegal to do it with real money, and I think they mostly removed the versions of it in the areas where it's illegal to do it with real money. You know when a new item comes out and it says discounted up to this point? That's not legal, especially when that item has never been on sale before for the original price, and whenever it comes back, even as a rerun, it comes back under the discounted price. So effectively, the discount is just there to imply that you're getting some sort of value when you don't. You can sort of do it when you have in the part of a bundle something that you're selling separately. So for example, let's say normally 5 pulls is £5. I put it in a bundle together with, I don't know, a Momo Dance, and I sell it for $2.50, and I marked it as 50% off. That would be legal, because you're selling those pulls separately, and it is cheaper in the bundle, rather than just like buying them separately. But they did get in trouble for doing real world money discounts when the original price that it's discounted from has never existed, and when those items are not available for purchase in any other way, so the discount is there to just make you feel better about your purchase, rather than being like a real legitimate thing. Next up is Giovanni Who, which tends to be the reaction that people get whenever a new sexy boy releases. So we have a problem that for like 1.0 storyline, the only notable man that looked important in any way outside of maybe Tanyu, but I would describe Tanyu more like a boy-looking thing rather than a man-looking thing. For a while, it was Giovanni or nothing else. And then when you finish the storyline, he gets locked up and not released out of his jail until like 1.11, and then when he's released out of his jail, he was out for like one patch cycle and he disappeared again. So a lot of people hyper-focused on that because it was an NPC that you couldn't find in the environment, and because of the hyper-fixation on him and him being like the only interesting looking man, whenever a new man released, a lot of people would throw it back to Giovanni, while also talking about the new mystery man. So, for example, we had Oren. Oren gave you the house that you live in, because Seer told him to do so. And he existed for exactly 3 minutes during one cutscene. People got very attached to that too. Then we had the Sovereign of Sexy. He is in the open world, but the dude has absolutely no story. And now we have McGill and his boyfriend, which people like. They actually seem to actually have a storyline. Look, it doesn't matter what the character's sexuality is. It doesn't matter that they're not romantically involved with Nikki. People like having some boy candy in the open world. So, you know, involving men in a storyline shouldn't be a taboo the way that it is in this game. And I'm happy that we got McGill and his boyfriend. I think that they're a great addition and a good example as to how you should casually throw in male characters here and there into the storyline without them having any actual, like, romantic significance with Nikki, while still having sort of, like, a background of their own and it makes them feel like actual people that exist in this seemingly world with other people outside of Nikki. So Giovanni Who tends to be a meme whenever a new pretty boy gets released, effectively. And lastly, on tier 3, we have boots covered by pants. Easiest way to explain it is that a lot of pants, when it comes to paid boots even, they go on top of it, creating some sort of really bizarre clipping issues. While if you look at some free given out boots, they go on top of the pants, creating a coherent model. So Infold can do this, but they don't bother checking clipping in their most recent releases, which people are upset about. So there you go. I have explained the first 3 tiers of the Infinity Nikki fandom's iceberg. How do you feel about like the whole thing? I find it such a nice little trip down the memory lane. Everything that I have been talking about is in the description down below, together with all the posts, and also this iceberg itself. I hope that you're gonna join me the next time for the second half of the iceberg, where it goes a bit messier, a bit dirtier, and a bit more fun. So, all in good fun. Thank you for watching. Thank you so much for my Patreon supporters, and I hope that I'm gonna see you the next time. Toodaloo.